Let me start by saying this. Respect is never something you can demand or force. Respect is earned quietly, through the way you show up, especially in the moments when no one is watching, or when the pressure is at its highest. And one of the most powerful ways to earn respect is by controlling yourself. You see, self-control isn't about suppressing who you are or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about mastery over your impulses, your reactions, and your emotion. It's about choosing the kind of man you want to be, rather than letting your circumstances or feelings dictate your behavior. Self-control is the foundation of trust. It's a principle so simple and yet so profound that it shapes the very core of our relationships, both personal and professional. Trust doesn't happen by accident. It is built over time, piece by piece, moment by moment. And one of the key building blocks in that process is the ability to control ourselves. Our emotions, our impulses, our reaction. When you exercise self-control, you create a sense of reliability. You become someone others can depend on because they know you won't be swept away by anger, jealousy, or impatience. You don't act on every impulse or lash out when things don't go your way. Instead, you pause, you think, you choose your response carefully. This kind of measured behavior sends a clear message. You are steady, consistent, and trustworthy. Imagine for a moment what it's like to be on the other side. If someone you care about or rely on reacts unpredictably or loses control when things get tough, what happens? Doubt creeps in. You start to wonder if you can count on them. You become cautious with your words and your heart. Trust begins to erode. That's why self-control matters so deeply. It's not just about you. It's about the safety and security you provide to others. At its core, trust is a belief that someone will act with your best interests in mind, that they will honor their commitments and treat you with respect. Self-control is what makes this belief possible. Because when you control yourself, you demonstrate respect, not only for others, but for yourself. You show that you value the relationship more than the need to be right in a moment, more than the urge to vent frustration or prove a point. This ability to regulate your emotions and actions becomes a foundation that others can lean on. It fosters a space where honest communication and vulnerability can thrive. People feel safe to be themselves, knowing they won't face sudden outbursts or unpredictable reaction. When trust is grounded in self-control, relationships become stronger, deeper, and more resilient. Self-control also reflects maturity and emotional intelligence. It requires awareness, an ability to recognize your feelings without being ruled by them. Demands discipline, the practice of choosing long-term harmony over short-term satisfaction. And it involves patience, the willingness to wait, listen, and understand before responding. These qualities inspire trust because they show that you are not impulsive or reckless. You are intentional and thoughtful. You understand that every action has consequences, and that maintaining trust is more valuable than winning a temporary argument. When you bring this kind of self-control into your relationships, you become a steady anchor amid life's uncertainties. And it's trust. This doesn't mean that you suppress your emotions or pretend to be perfect. Self-control is not about denial, but mastery. It's about acknowledging your feelings and choosing how to express them in a way that builds rather than breaks. It's the difference between yelling in anger and calmly stating your needs, between making snap judgments and taking time to understand, between reacting to pain with blame and responding with compassion. By mastering self-control, you show others that they can trust you to handle difficult moments with grace and integrity. You demonstrate that you are someone who keeps your promises, not only in words but in behavior. Trust, once earned, opens the door to deeper connection, respect, and influence. In any relationship, whether with a partner, friend, colleague, or family member, trust is the currency that makes everything possible. Without it, misunderstandings grow, communication falters, and bonds weaken. But with trust firmly rooted in self-control, you create a foundation strong enough to weather challenges, resolve conflicts, and grow together. Ultimately, self-control is not a limitation. It's a source of freedom. When you control yourself, you free your relationships from chaos and unpredictability. You free the people you care about from fear and doubt, and you free yourself to become the kind of person who others respect and trust deeply. So remember this, if you want to build trust that lasts, start with yourself. Cultivate self-control not as a burden but as a gift, one that you give to yourself and everyone around you. It is the foundation upon which every meaningful connection is built. Respect is earned, not demanded. This simple truth is at the heart of every meaningful relationship, every strong leadership role, and every lasting connection we make in life. Too often, people believe respect is something that should be automatically given, that it's a right they possess simply because of their position, their status, or their words. But respect, in its deepest and most genuine form, does not work that way. Wait. Respect must be cultivated through consistent actions, integrity, and character. When you demand respect, you're asking others to give you something without necessarily giving anything in return. It's like trying to collect interest on a loan that hasn't been repaid. People can't truly respect someone who insists on it without earning it first. And when respect is demanded, it often breeds resentment or fear rather than genuine admiration. That kind of a respect is fragile and temporary because it's built on obligation or intimidation, not on authentic connection. True respect is a response to who you are and how you show up in the world. It's earned through the way you treat others, the consistency of your behavior, and the authenticity of your character. When you live with integrity, when you hold yourself accountable, and when you show kindness and empathy, people naturally want to respect you. They see that you don't just expect respect, you deserve it. Earning respect means showing up even when it's difficult. It means standing by your principles, especially when no one is watching. It means admitting when you're wrong, learning from mistakes, and growing. People respect vulnerability because it takes courage. They respect honesty because it builds trust. And they respect perseverance because it shows commitment. Respect is also earned in the way you handle conflict and adversity. When challenges arise, some people react defensively or lash out. Others seek to understand, to communicate with calm and clarity, and to find solutions rather than blame. The latter approach earns respect because it demonstrates emotional maturity and leadership. It shows you value the relationship or the team more than the need to be right or to win an argument. It's important to realize that respect is not something you can force through titles, possessions, or appearances. These things may influence initial impressions, but they don't guarantee respect. The respect that lasts is built on consistent actions over time. It's a reflection of your inner values made visible in the way you live. When you understand that respect is earned, you begin to focus on what truly matters. You stop trying to impress others with superficial displays and start investing in your character. You prioritize listening over talking, humility over arrogance, and service over self-interest. This shift not only transforms how others see you, but also how you see yourself. Furthermore, earning respect creates a powerful ripple effect. When you respect yourself and earn the respect of others, you inspire those around you to do the same. You set a standard for how people should treat one another. You contribute to building environments, whether at home, at work, or in the community, where respect is a shared value, not just an expectation. Respect also requires patience. It can't be rushed or shortcut. Sometimes you might feel overlooked or misunderstood. But remember, genuine respect takes time to grow because it's rooted in trust and experience. If you keep showing up authentically and consistently, respect will follow. In relationships, respect is the glue that holds two people together. Without it, connection falters, communication breaks down, and love fades. When respect is earned, it creates a space where both individuals feel valued and seen for who they truly are. It encourages openness, honesty, and mutual support. So the next time you think about respect, remember this: you cannot demand it, you must earn it. Earn it through your actions, your words, and your integrity. Earn it by being the person who stands tall, not because others have lifted you up, but because you have built yourself with strength and grace. In the end, respect is one of the greatest gifts you can give and receive, and it always begins with the choice to earn it. Emotional discipline is a sign of maturity. It's something that distinguishes those who lead with wisdom and calm from those who are driven by reaction and impulse. When you practice emotional discipline, you are demonstrating a level of self-awareness and control that goes far beyond simply managing feelings. You're showing that you have the capacity to navigate life's challenges with steadiness and grace. With steadiness and grace, And maturity isn't about never feeling anger, frustration, or disappointment. Those feelings are part of being human. What maturity requires is the ability to experience these emotions without being overwhelmed or controlled by them. Emotional discipline means you acknowledge your feelings, but don't let them dictate your actions. It means you can feel deeply without losing your balance. Think about how many times you've seen someone lose control in a heated moment, perhaps yelling, saying hurtful things, or making rash decisions they later regret. In that moment, they might feel justified, but the long-term impact often damages relationships, reputations, and trust. Emotional immaturity in this way leads to outcomes that create division rather than connection. On the other hand, when you demonstrate emotional discipline, you create space between the stimulus and your response. This space is crucial because it allows you to choose how to act rather than simply reacting. It's the difference between exploding in anger and calmly addressing a problem, between retreating in fear and facing a challenge with courage, between blaming others and taking responsibility. This discipline is a hallmark of emotional intelligence. It means you're aware of your emotional state and can regulate it in a way that serves you and those around you. It reflects patience, empathy, and resilience. These qualities make you not only more effective in your personal and professional relationships, but also more respected as a person. Emotional discipline also signals that you have a long-term perspective. You recognize that short-term reactions might satisfy a fleeting urge but can harm your future. Maturity means understanding consequences, not just immediate ones, but those that ripple through your life and relationships over time. It means valuing peace, stability, and growth more than momentary gratification. By practicing emotional discipline, you build trust and credibility. People know they can count on you to stay calm under pressure, to listen carefully, and to respond thoughtfully. This creates an environment where others feel safe and valued. It encourages open dialogue, collaboration, and mutual respect. Moreover, emotional discipline is empowering. It frees you from being a slave to your moods or external circumstances. When you control your emotions, you reclaim your power. You decide how to show up, how to engage, and how to influence your world. This kind of control is liberating. It allows you to move forward with clarity and confidence, even in the face of adversity. Of course, developing emotional discipline takes practice. It's not a trait you are simply born with. It's a skill you cultivate. It requires honest self-reflection and the willingness to be uncomfortable. It demands that you slow down, breathe, and choose your responses rather than rushing into action. This journey of growth is ongoing because life will always present situations that challenge your emotional balance. But with every moment you practice discipline, you strengthen your maturity. You become someone who is not easily shaken by setbacks or provocations. Provocation. You become someone who can hold space for others' emotions without losing yourself. And in doing so, you create deeper, more meaningful connections. In essence, emotional discipline is a quiet strength. It's not flashy or loud, but it is powerful. It sets you apart as a person who can lead with heart and mind, who can inspire calm and confidence in others, and who can face life's complexities with wisdom. When you embrace emotional discipline, you step into a higher level of maturity, one that commands respect not through force, but through the steady, composed way you carry yourself. It's a gift you give yourself and those around you, a foundation for trust, love, and leadership that lasts. Your actions speak louder than words. This idea is simple, but carries immense power. Words are easy to say. Anyone can speak promises, make commitments, or offer explanation. But it is through your actions, the things you actually do, that your true character and intentions are revealed. Words can inspire, but actions build trust, credibility, and lasting respect. Consider how often people say things they don't follow through on. They might promise to change, to be better, or to show up. But if their behavior doesn't align with those words, disappointment follows. Over time, repeated mismatches between words and actions erode confidence and damage relationships. No matter how eloquent or sincere words may sound, if actions don't back them up, they become empty and meaningless. Actions are the proof of our values. They show what we truly prioritize. When you say something is important to you, but your actions suggest otherwise, people notice. For example, if you say you value honesty but frequently lie or avoid difficult truths, trust breaks down. Trust breaks down. If you say you care about someone but consistently fail to be there for them, your words ring hollow. On the other hand, when your actions consistently reflect your stated values, you build authenticity and integrity. This principle applies not only to personal relationships, but to every aspect of life: work, leadership, friendships, and even self-respect. People don't just listen to what you say. They watch what you do, and they make judgments about your character based on those observations. That's why it's so important to align your behavior with your words. Actions create impact and momentum. A single kind gesture can mean more than 1,000 spoken compliments. A moment of patience or calm in a tense situation often communicates more respect than any apology afterward. Showing up consistently, especially when it's hard, sends a message of commitment and reliability far louder than promises ever could. There is a profound power in consistency. When your actions align day after day, people begin to expect certain things from you, and that expectation becomes trust. They believe in your dependability because you have demonstrated it repeatedly. This kind of trust is invaluable because it creates stability and confidence in your relationships and endeavors. Moreover, actions shape your identity in ways words cannot. You might tell yourself you are patient, generous, or disciplined, but those qualities become real only when you live them through your actions. Each choice you make, each behavior you exhibit, reinforces the kind of person you are and want to be. It's through action that we grow, change, and prove to ourselves and others who we really are. Your actions also influence others deeply. They inspire, motivate, and set examples. People learn more from watching how you handle challenges, treat others, and stay committed than they do from any speech or advice you give. Leaders who act with integrity and compassion build teams that mirror those values. Partners who show love through thoughtful actions strengthen their bonds more than words ever could. Sometimes the power of actions over words is most evident in silence. When you don't say much but consistently act with kindness, respect, and responsibility, you communicate more effectively than 1,000 speeches. Actions can cut through misunderstandings, calm conflicts, and demonstrate care without needing to be explained. It's important to remember that actions don't have to be grand gestures to matter. Small, everyday actions, listening attentively, being punctual, offering help without being asked, accumulate over time and create a foundation of respect and trust. You show the other person that their feelings matter and that you are committed to handling the relationship with care. Over time, this creates a foundation of trust that allows both people to open up, be vulnerable, and grow closer. Self-control also helps in managing expectations and avoiding unnecessary drama. Relationships can be fragile when one or both parties react impulsively or unpredictably. This unpredictability breeds insecurity and anxiety, making it harder to form lasting bonds. But when you control your emotions and behavior, you become more reliable and consistent. This consistency reassures others that they can count on you, which strengthens the connection. Another important aspect is how self-control enables you to prioritize the relationship over your ego or immediate desires. It's easy to get caught up in winning an argument or proving a point. But strong connections require humility and the willingness to sometimes set aside your own needs for the sake of harmony. Self-control gives you the capacity to do that. It helps you resist the urge to react defensively or stubbornly, and instead focus on what truly matters: the well-being of the relationship. Self-control also plays a vital role in empathy, which is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. When you are in control of your own emotions, you are better equipped to tune into someone else's experience without being overwhelmed by your own feelings. This opens the door for deeper emotional connection and mutual support. Beyond romantic relationships, self-control strengthens connections in friendships, families, and workplaces. In all these settings, the ability to manage your reactions, listen patiently, and communicate thoughtfully makes interactions more positive and meaningful. It helps prevent misunderstandings, builds respect, and fosters cooperation. Self-control is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about managing your responses in a way that serves the relationship and promotes growth. It's about choosing patience over impulsivity, understanding over judgment, and love over pride. When you cultivate self-control, you become someone who builds bridges rather than walls. You become a person others want to be around because you create an environment of respect and safety. You foster connections that are resilient enough to survive the ups and downs of life. Ultimately, stronger connections lead to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. We all crave genuine connection, and self-control is one of the most important tools for creating it. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. So remember, every time you choose self-control over impulse, you are investing in the strength of your relationship. You are choosing connection over conflict. You are choosing respect, trust, and love. And that choice makes all the difference. Respect fuels influence and leadership. Without respect, leadership loses its foundation and influence becomes hollow. True leaders understand that influence is not about power or control. It is about earning the trust and admiration of others, and respect is the key that unlocks that trust. When people respect you, they are more willing to listen, follow, and be inspired by your vision. Leadership is often mistaken as a position of authority, but the reality is that true leadership is earned through respect. A title or role can demand obedience, but it cannot command respect. Respect must be given freely, and it is the result of how you show up every day, through your actions, your values, and your commitment to those you lead. When you lead with respect, you create an environment where people feel valued and empowered. They know their voices matter, and their contributions are seen and appreciated. This sense of respect motivates people to bring their best selves forward, to engage wholeheartedly, and to go beyond what is expected. It transforms a group of individuals into a cohesive team moving toward a common goal. Respect is also essential for influence because it builds credibility. When people respect you, they trust your judgment and believe in your integrity. They are confident that your decisions are made with fairness and wisdom, not personal gain or favoritism. This trust is the currency of influence. It allows you to guide others and shape outcomes in a positive way. Furthermore, respect encourages open communication. In a respectful environment, people feel safe to express their ideas, concerns, and feedback. This openness leads to better problem solving, innovation, and collaboration. Leaders who cultivate respect invite diverse perspectives and listen actively, which strengthens their ability to make informed decisions and gain wider support. Leaders who fail to earn respect often find themselves isolated, struggling to inspire or motivate. Influence built on fear, coercion, or manipulation is fragile and short-lived. It may work temporarily, but it ultimately breaks down relationships and undermines long-term success. Respect, on the other hand, creates a sustainable foundation for leadership that can withstand challenges and setbacks. Respect also reflects humility, a vital trait for any leader. When you respect others, you acknowledge their worth and the value of their contributions. You don't see leadership as a platform for personal glory, but as a responsibility to serve and uplift those around you. This humility earns respect in return and inspires loyalty. Moreover, respect fuels resilience in leadership. Challenges and criticism are inevitable, but when leaders are respected, they are more likely to receive support and understanding during difficult times. And respect builds a reservoir of goodwill that can be drawn upon to navigate adversity and keep teams united and motivated. The impact of respect on leadership goes beyond the immediate group or organization. But leaders who lead with respect influence cultures and communities. They set examples that ripple outward, shaping how people interact and collaborate at all levels. Their influence fosters environments where respect becomes a shared value, elevating everyone involved. In addition, respect in leadership fosters accountability. When leaders show respect, they hold themselves and others to high standards in a fair and constructive way. This balance of respect and accountability drives growth and excellence without breeding fear or resentment. Respect also bridges differences. In diverse teams and organizations, respect helps to overcome barriers of culture, background, and perspective. It creates unity amid diversity and enables leaders to harness the strengths of everyone they lead. Ultimately, respect is both the foundation and fuel of influence and leadership. It is earned through consistent integrity, empathy, and authenticity. Leaders who understand this realize that their greatest power lies not in authority, but in the respect they inspire. When you lead with respect, you don't just direct others, you inspire them. You don't just manage tasks, you build relationships. And through those relationships, you create lasting impact and meaningful success. If you want to be a leader who truly influences and inspires, focus first on earning respect. Show up with humility, listen with empathy, act with integrity, and value those you lead. Respect will follow, and with the power to make a difference that lasts.